Hey everybody, welcome back. I am your host, Joe JDF Foster, and today I'm going to be discussing the movie, or reviewing it rather, Who's Your Daddy? And it's by the movie people we know as National Lampoons. Again, before I go forward with the review, I would like to say thank you to all the subscribers who actually do check out my videos and at least try to view them. But if you come across them and enjoy it, feel free to like and subscribe, as well as leave your comments on on a film that's in the past or an upcoming one that if I can find it, I will, and if I can find and review, I will review. And I will actually give you credit for asking me to review it. But now, or on some other topic in general. But now moving forward with the review. Who's Your Daddy was a film that came out in 2002. It was released in January. It's a comedy. Given that it's National Lampoons, that tends to be the biggest habit of it. And it has like moments here and there of a romantic type comedy, but not real. But it's more focused on the natural comedy that National Lampoons is known for, like you would see in Animal House or Vacation, the Vacation franchise. The movie stars William Atherton as Duncan Mack. Um, a lot of people would remember him as as Mickey Rayborn in the Life TV series. Dr. Barr for 2 episodes of Desperate Housewives. D.A. Keith Pratt on The Practice. From 1996, the Pauly Shore movie Biodome as Dr. Noah Faulkner. In 1985, he was Professor Jerry Hathaway in the movie Real Genius, which stars a young Val Kilmer. And in in the year before that, and the role that he's probably more known for, EPA Walter Peck in Ghostbusters. From what I've seen of his movie and TV show career, he does a lot of antagonist type roles. And spoiler alert, this one's not really any different. He kind of lives up to playing. I don't know if it's that they typecast him or if it's just chance that he does this. He just plays it really well. Next on the list is Brandon Davis, who plays the character Chris Hughes, our main star. Um, he was on the TV show Even Stevens as Bobby Deaver, and anything else he did were one-off roles. And the next big star on the list that plays any vital role is Christine Lakin. Although I may be mispronouncing her last name, I'm pretty sure on that I've actually got it right on hers, and that it's Lakin, who plays the character of Kate Reeves. Many will remember her as the voice of Joyce Kinney on Family Guy, and or the character of Christine in Hollywood Darlings TV series. She was also on the TV show Melissa and Joey as Jackie. I didn't really know her. I didn't really watch Melissa and Joey that much to know the character. And Hollywood Darlings, I've never heard of. She also had a TV miniseries of her own, where she played herself, called Loving Lakin. I've never actually seen it, and I couldn't find it anywhere to try and view it. She was also Kate Providence in a TV series called Valentine. Sorry, got tongue tied there. And too much of watching other shows where the name Valentine comes up with it spelled that way. But the role I know her for, and the one most people I think would remember her for, is Alicia Lambert on Step by Step, aka Al Lambert, the middle daughter in the show, also known as the tomboy. Now, the plot for this movie is fairly straightforward, which is a reason why I didn't list it later on. But I'm going to go ahead and say it now. It's part of the reason why the grade I gave it in the end got it the way it did is because I took off for this because it was too straightforward. It's an average high schooler finds out he's the adopted heir, in that he's adopted and the heir to this adult empire. And while managing his newfound business and life, he's got to find a balance with his old life and deal with um, an uncle and a lawyer who are planning to steal his inheritance. Now, now I'm gonna go under my list of interesting notes I found, or at least what I found interesting about the movie. The adult empire in this movie is pretty much just playing off the idea of Playboy. It's got the magazine, the money, and it's got what they changed the name from Playboy to Heaven. They got the money where it's worth all this, where it's worth billion instead of small amounts. And there's also a mansion where the girls live. I mean, where the models live for so many months out of the year, or for so long, which is the same as what happens with the Playboy Mansion a lot of times, from the understanding that's been given. In the movie, also this movie, when it was released, came in two ratings: the R rating and the unrated version. If you're not wanting gratuitous nudity from the, don't worry, it doesn't go full frontal or anything like that. But if you want, but where it's just gratuitous with breast shots, if you don't want that, go with the R rating. The unrated focuses more on that in the National Lampoon styling. Again, there's also two references to older movies in this that when you watch it, it's easy to catch and easy to understand, but is interesting in the fact of the way they do it. And that's the references to The Wizard of Oz and Driving Miss Daisy being done in the same scene. The Wizard of Oz reference is where the friendship between the main character and his um, driver come down to this nice little comment on the line where Dorothy is leaving Oz. And it talks about how how she'll miss the Scarecrow most of all. And the Scarecrow replies, "I'll miss you, Dorothy." Which I saw was okay, but also entertaining at the same time. But it did raise a question in my mind about something else I thought about that could have been questioned about during the time that it took place in this Wizard of Oz, not here. And why the Scarecrow looks so different. And also in this scene, like I said, it also referenced Driving Miss Daisy. The lawyer, not the lawyer, the uncle says Miss Daisy is tired of waiting, which is a reference to the fact that the Mr. Brooks was the driver for them and for the company, so he had to drive them, and he was keeping them waiting longer than he should have. Which nowadays would be considered offensive to a lot of people, but during the time that Driving Miss Daisy was supposed to take place, would have been considered something normal. Also, I want to talk about two songs that are played during this movie. The first is "We're Not Gonna Take It." There's two different versions of it played. Early on in the film, the traditional, most remembered Twisted Sister version of it, where it's just the guys dancing, nothing real there. The Joan Jett version, played later on, actually makes sense for the scene it's played in, and it works nicely. Though, in my personal view, Joan Jett's voice isn't really right for the song. It seemed off in some way to me. Feel free to look it up and listen and tell me what you think of it, because I would really like to know your opinion on that as well. On which you would prefer when listening. The Dee Snider original or the Joan Jett one? Okay, I say original, but the Dee Snider Twisted Sister version or the Joan Jett one. And the second song is Centerfold by Jay Giles Band. This song was actually very fitting to the movie because it also deals with the adult magazine. Although it does not give a name to the magazine. It just calls it a girly magazine. Where his where when he's looking through the pages in the song, it actually states how much he's in love with this girl. And one day the singer's looking through the pages of this magazine, and there in the middle is his angel. Well, and then it talks about how he's having to deal with the issue of knowing that she posed in this magazine and as to whether he can deal with it or not. While knowing that he is still in love with her. And my final fact on this, in the movie, it is listed that the town is Xenia, Ohio. I may be mispronouncing that. Some of these towns that use the X at the beginning of their name make it hard to remember whether it's a soft or a hard sound to it. So whether it's Xenia or Xenia, I'm not sure. But the town actually does exist, and the population at one point did match the town's population in the movie of 26,000. No, I don't think it matched at the time this movie came out. And nowadays, that population is up to 45,000 or more. Or at least according to some of the places I looked at. Okay, now for my final word on this. One, my recommendation. I would recommend this movie for multiple watches, and do not let anybody under 13 watch it. Though this movie could have been a PG-13, it's the amount of sexual humor, language, and nudity, I have a feeling, is the reason why it got pushed to R. But, like I said, this movie I could see a PG-13. I could see a 13 or older watching and it being okay. because they understand what's going on. But that would be where I stopped at on that. But yes, still good for multiple watches among adults and 13. I mean, from 13 to adults. Great for multiple watches. Or at least if you're looking for something to carry over on a rainy day. But my final grade is a B minus. One, the movie could have been cut shorter, had some of the scenes taken out, and the movie would have still worked as a complete from A to Z story. Now, some moments seem to be thrown in, but were unnecessary, such as I spoke of earlier, gratuitous shots of the female anatomy, aka breast shots. But otherwise, it's a good movie, and I highly recommend it. Well, that is my review of this film. Let me know what you think. And as I stated, give me a film you'd like me to review, and if I can find it, I will review it. And I'll see you all next time. And that also includes topics, by the way, just in general.